Welcome to the Thai Sustainability Summit, the largest summit hosted by the Thai Hyderabad. I'm Shanti, and I'm the Program Director for TSS 2021. I work in the areas of change facilitation and process standardization as a professional, and usually in organizations with large multi-stakeholder groups. Well, with regards to the TSS 2021, it's indeed been a humbling experience working on this project. And with 40,000 plus registrations, it's a testimony of all the efforts of the leadership and the team. We hope you found the sessions insightful and inspirational and continue to do so. Let me start by introducing to you one of the country partners for TSS 2021, the Republic of Costa Rica, and some interesting facts about Costa Rica. It has been awarded the United Nations Environment Programme's Champion of the Earth Award in 2019. More than 98% of its energy is renewable, and its forest cover stands at more than 53%. So there's so much to learn from the sustainable practices of Costa Rica. And it's indeed my honor to introduce to you His Excellency, Dr. Claudio Ansorena, the Ambassador of Costa Rica to the Republic of India. He has a PhD in economics from the University of Massachusetts, and he worked with the UNDP for public sector reform program early on in his career. In the early 2000s, he was the director of the Master Program on Sustainable Development and Social Corporate Responsibility at the UN University of Peace, Costa Rica. Dr. Ansorena was the senior advisor for Central America, Venezuela, Mexico, and Spain from December 2014 to July 2017 at the World Bank Group Board. From 2019, he has been in India as the Ambassador of Costa Rica to the Republic of India. We are happy to have you join us, Your Excellency, and we look forward to the insights from your country and your distinguished guests. Please take over from here, and thank you.
Hello, my name is Claudio Ansorena. I'm the Ambassador of Costa Rica in India. Today, I'm delighted to be here in the Summit of Sustainability that Thai has organized this year. It is a privilege and an honor for Costa Rica to be hosting this along with India and Israel to show the need of a global solution for sustainability. I have to introduce the Costa Rican part of this Sustainability Summit. So I will be introducing each of the speakers. We have a great line of speakers of Costa Rican authorities in each of the topics that we'll deal with. So let's begin. And thank you very much to the Thai organization.
You think you know Costa Rica. The calm sensation of being in a place without armed forces. The magnificent experience of one of the planet's most intense life concentrations. The joyful moments you can live in a place where a smile comes naturally. You think you know Costa Rica, but you still don't know. Witness the huge success of a small country that grew from 4 to 4,000 exportable goods. Taste our products' exotic flavors, reaching over 100 countries around the world. Produced in a 99% renewable sources generated energy network. Amaze with Latin America's leader in innovation and technology. Meet the talent of the people crafting the health solutions of the future. Be part of a growing modern economy focused on transforming people's lives. Because our effect is born here, but can be felt very far away. It reaches the most demanding markets. It competes with the toughest leaders. It makes us a global scale role model. It is that one thing that brings together business and purpose. Get ready to experience the Costa Rica effect.
We'll start the presentation of Costa Rica with Vice Minister Adriana Bolaños, who will say some words on the challenges and achievements that Costa Rica has realized.
Distinguished friends of the Government of the Republic of India participating in this summit, distinguished business leaders, global investors, representatives from academia, members of corporations and NGOs, distinguished entrepreneurs, distinguished guests of this important summit, ladies and gentlemen. As Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Costa Rica, it is for me a great honor to participate in this year's event, which enhances the importance of sustainability as the center of our efforts, as part of this globalized macrosystem in which we live, interconnected and interdependent. I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Manohar Reddy, Chair of this summit, and his colleagues for designating Costa Rica as a partner country. This pandemic and the negative effects of climate change are calling us to redirect our development towards smart operations with special respect to nature for effective, sustainable economic, social, and environmental results. Costa Rica is a small territory with great opportunities. We have a strategic central location in the Americas, with a world-recognized and stable democracy, talented and multilingual people, a strong legal framework protecting investments, a natural hub for life-centered solutions, where investments in the field of advanced manufacturing, life sciences, food, aerospace, and clean energy industries are and have been most welcome. We have an affordable, high-quality healthcare system, recognized especially during this pandemic, demonstrating resilience and robustness. The investment Costa Rica has made for decades in public health allows our country to have a life expectancy at birth of 80.3 years higher than many industrialized countries, with 95% of the population covered by medical insurance. The health sector and biomedical services have become a real catalyst for our development, socially and economically. We are committed to a decarbonized economy by 2050, with nature-based solutions. We are also committed to a digital transformation 4.0 and the development of a knowledge-based society with effective public-private associations. Costa Rica is an example that nature can save us, and the sustainability and human development are both possible. That we can do businesses being green at the same time. That the protection of the environment is not opposed to economic development. Costa Rica aims for a future greener, bluer, and solidary. Our electrical power matrix is based mostly on renewable energy sources and expects new alliances with private partners to continue to explore new energy sources, like green hydrogen. We are convinced that the reconstruction of our economies must drive to industries that make efficient use of the energy to generate employment and reduce operating costs while we care for the environment. I invite you to hear today from our Minister of Trade and the Minister of Tourism as keynote speakers. Also, at the end of this summit, I extend a special invitation to all of you to hear in a comprehensive session dedicated to Costa Rica from key actors in our environmental and trade agenda, including the Ministry of Science and Technology, the Ministry of Economy, the Ministry of the Environment, the Ministry of Culture, our trade promoting agencies, and the ICE, a governmental institution with ample experience in clean energy solutions, which will give you a good overview of opportunities you will find in our country. I wish you all the best during this summer, inviting you to green investments in Costa Rica, and most importantly, to come and enjoy what we have to offer. Thank you very much.
Next, we'll have the Ministry of Foreign Trade and Investment, Mr. Andres Valenciano, who will talk about the sustainability strategy of Costa Rica in trade and investment.
Good morning and good evening to everyone. It is a pleasure for me to be part of this important event and share Costa Rica's experience and our vision based on sustainability, inclusion, and resilience. The world is undergoing an era of transformations. A fragile global economy struggling to recover from the crisis caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, a challenging, rapidly evolving digital transformation, an unprecedented climate change, placing the urgent need to transition to a low-carbon economy and an urgent call for inclusive growth to achieve sustainable development. Costa Rica has proven to have a high response and risk management of these challenges, translated to becoming a great partner for companies around the world. As you know, Costa Rica is a global and open economy that throughout the years has relied on international trade and investment to promote sustainable and inclusive growth as part of a country's national development strategy. For years, we as a country have sought to attract companies that integrate long-term sustainability values within their management schemes and their global growth goals. Therefore, this has led to the creation of a vision based on three pillars: people, planet, and prosperity. A framework that has encouraged companies to invest in our country and to contribute with global and sustainable development. Costa Rica provides a dynamic platform for talent development. In alignment with market needs and global transformation, we have proudly said that human talent is our greatest resource. Since 1948, we have no standing army, and we have instead invested our GDP in education that is free and mandatory since 1870. This strategic focus on education has made Costa Rica home to over 350 multinational companies from a variety of sectors, providing solutions to achieve sustainable growth while creating value with purpose. Also, sustainability has been in our roadmap for over 60 years, and today, more than ever, it has delivered positive results. 99% of our electricity comes from renewable resources. We have reverted deforestation, and we are home to 6% of the world's biodiversity. We also have a national decarbonization plan to make a low-carbon transition by 2050. And this has helped us leverage technological innovations and digital transformation in order to improve our capacity to attract companies and provide the opportunities for their growth. We are convinced that decarbonization is instrumental to recover from the current crisis, and the next page in human history will be stronger if it's greener, bluer, and more collaborative than ever before. And foreign direct investment has played a key role. For years, Costa Rica has sought to attract companies that integrate sustainability values and that position themselves as companies who understand the need for environmental conservation in a place where business can grow and thrive together with sustainability. At the same time, during the last decades, Costa Rica has put in motion a deliberate trade policy that has led to the profound transformation of our economy. We went from being very agriculturally intensive and based in our exports on commodities to a sophisticated global manufacturing, medical devices, and digital services hub that exports more than 4,000 products across 150 countries around the world. And this is fueled by a platform of agreements that provide preferential access to markets to about 2/3 of the world's GDP. Technology has enabled this ecosystem where IT, biotech, smart manufacturing, and life sciences have been proven partner enterprises for our country. We now understand that corporations are embracing ESG standards, and we look forward to working with companies who want to impact positively in terms of social and economic terms. So under these three pillars, we are boosting the opportunities for all responsible enterprises and entrepreneurs that need a strategic partner to accomplish their business goals. We have positioned ourselves as a hub for smarter, sustainable business investment and as important partner for companies who want to source responsibly raw materials, products, or services. And for those companies fitting location for quality FDI, we are interested in generating impact together to the achievement of our sustainable development goals. Eagerly, we can say this strategy has delivered positive results. Just a few weeks ago, FDI Intelligence, a service from the Financial Times, classified Costa Rica as the top spot in greenfield FDI performance. The report disclosed that Costa Rica is attracting 11 times the amount of greenfield FDI that is expected given the size of our economy. Part of Costa Rica's vision regarding sustainability and responsible business conduct takes its value as an instrument for differentiation and competitiveness. Responsible business conduct has been a chief pathway to sustainability, and we work continuously to position our country as an important partner for companies and the inclusion of these standards as they contribute positively to the growth of the companies and achieving economic, environmental, and social progress. However, we are aware the international environment is challenging and we need to continue working hard. So after successfully completing and carrying out profound reforms, Costa Rica officially became part of the OECD. For Costa Rica, the work does not end with this accession process. It is rather the beginning of a path of continuous improvement to adopt the best practices and policies and signal to the whole world that Costa Rica is on a path of continuous improvement. Our membership to the OECD reflects the country's willingness and ability to reform and adopt the best international standards, aiming to propel a more resilient and inclusive country. It is a testimony of our commitment to excellence, and it has provided an essential part of building a more efficient government capable of providing the necessary conditions to catalyze a dynamic economic activity that will contribute to the well-being of all our citizens. To us, today is more important than ever the impacts of FDI contribute above and beyond to a greener recovery. We need to do better in making the case that climate resilience makes business sense. Investing to reduce climate vulnerability will allow companies to minimize risk and signify seeing an economic turnaround in their long-term vision that we share. We can highlight that creating an FDI strategy that focuses on integrating components like human talent, environmental protection, with a collaborative ecosystem demonstrates that FDI can be a great contributor to our development, especially when policy is designed and effectively implemented to produce those outcomes. As you know, Costa Rica is a small country that dreams in big dimensions. And I encourage you to get to know us better, and you will find a long-lasting business partner that supports investors, entrepreneurs, and companies around the world. Thank you very much.
We'll now listen to the Minister of Tourism, Gustavo Segura Sancho, who will talk about ecotourism and the natural resources that Costa Rica has to offer.
My name is Gustavo Segura Sancho, Minister of Tourism of Costa Rica. I have been invited to be a keynote speaker at this TIE Sustainability Summit. Our sustainable tourism development model has made us a world-renowned country. So I am very sure that many of you can easily pinpoint on a map where Costa Rica is. And for those of you who don't know, here we are. Allow me to tell you a brief story. In Bijagua, a wonderful rural Costa Rican village nestled between two of our majestic volcanoes, a Costa Rican-Australian couple runs an inn of 6 cottages on a farm of 7 acres. They market a unique tourism product, the opportunity to experience rural Costa Rican life, and in doing so, contribute to the social progress of the community. Filipa Kelly and Donald Varela met 18 years ago at a conservation project here in Costa Rica. Together, they transformed their commitment and passion for sustainable development into an agricultural and ecotourism venture. To describe the authentic experience they market, Pipa and Donald fall back on a simple mantra. What attracts people to rural Costa Rica is rural Costa Rica. This genuine Costa Rica of multiple colors and shapes, small and medium-sized enterprises, is the foundation of the tourism model that both our public and private sectors, hand in hand, agreed to follow 4 decades ago. Our model has been consolidated by encouraging tourism to be part of communities throughout the country. Our strategy has been to match demand to the conditions that the country offers, basing our tourism growth on the best prospects for the destination rather than tailoring the destination to the desires of the demand. Our national commitment to the sustainable use of natural resources leverages our tourism model, which in turn is for hundreds of small and medium-sized tourism enterprises a connection to the wider world, the showcase in which they make themselves known. Let me briefly refer to the latest perception study on our country conducted in 6 of our most important markets. This study reveals that in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Spain, Costa Rica is perceived as a country that honors nature, but also as a valuable society that enhances the human well-being of its citizens. This is a country of friendly, hospitable, and predominantly happy people, a society that arouses curiosity and invites discovery. Our country concentrates some of the great riches of our planet. Despite representing only 0.03% of the global territory, Costa Rica is home to around 6% of the world's biodiversity. With a 90% satisfaction rate when we evaluate the quality of our stunning national parks, it is only natural that, on average, 30% of the tourists entering the country are on a revisiting trip. They are returning guests. They first came to Costa Rica attracted by the natural beauty of the destination, but they came back because of our people. The contribution of national tourism to the gross domestic product exceeds 8% and directly benefits more than 200,000 families. There is no doubt we are the driving force of the Costa Rican economy with excellent investment opportunities. Costa Rica as a tourist destination has come of age, but growth is controlled. Our emphasis is not only on protecting the environment, but also on making sure that our operations are fully sustainable. Businesses are not only thinking about profitability, but also about improving the quality of life in their communities. High-quality services throughout the visit enhance the tourism experience. All in all, Costa Rica is at the stage of seeking recognition as an archetype of a sustainable destination, such that whenever someone thinks of sustainability, Costa Rica comes to mind. Just as we think of Venice or Paris when we think of romance, or the Caribbean when we think of sun, beach, and cruise destinations. Costa Rica chose a tourism development model in which the overall investment in each project is relatively small, in line with the conservation of our natural resources and the limited use of natural resources. Moreover, although the return on investment may be somewhat similar to those of higher projects, the impact on the local and national economy is even greater. In other words, a high percentage of every tourism dollar spent stays in the surrounding communities, with a direct positive impact on improving people's quality of life and alleviating poverty. In addition to selecting an innovative development model, Costa Rica has established public policies and strategic actions to position itself as a recognized tourism destination. For instance, to restore forest coverage, Costa Rica developed policy tools to promote reforestation and avoid deforestation. We introduced the Payment for Environmental Services program in the 1980s and 5% tax on fuel to pay for environmental services in private conservation areas, the world's first carbon tax, a policy that prevents deforestation by creating a monetary value for the forests. We established the National Park System, vital to our sustainable tourism model, because 7 out of 10 tourists come to Costa Rica for its natural beauty, and 60% visit more than 2 national parks and practice at least one adventure tourism or ecotourism activity. We launched the Certification for Sustainable Tourism 25 years ago, a free and voluntary certification that allows tourism businesses to demonstrate their commitment to sustainability. Companies commit to identify, assess, and mitigate the negative impacts that they may have on the environment, on social fabric, and local culture, while maintaining a high quality of service and protecting their workers. Other strategic public policies that have historically helped our global standing include electricity for all households, clean water for more than 97% of the population, long-term infrastructure investment, universal social insurance, and one of the key issues, investment in public education, equivalent to about 8% of our gross domestic product. So to conclude, Costa Rica pursues a unique type of tourism and over time has remained faithful to its development model. Along the way, decisions have been taken that have helped to maintain the course and leadership. Innovation and competitiveness have been key to maintaining our leadership. Sustainable tourism should be seen as a way of being and living, not just as a way of doing. For Costa Rica, sustainable tourism is a long-term process from which we will continue to learn and share with the world. Thank you so very much.
Let's listen now to Federico Torres Carballo, Vice Ministry of Science and Technology and Telecommunications, to talk about the strategy of bioeconomy of Costa Rica from 2020 to 2030.
This presentation is about the National Bioeconomy Strategy, Costa Rica 2020-2030. We want to share with you some elements of this strategy and the efforts that Costa Rica has been developed in this area in the last years. It's important to comment that this process has been led by an interministerial bioeconomy committee. This committee is integrated by the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, the Ministry of Science, Technology, Innovation, and Telecommunications. We lead this process. The Ministry of Economy and Trade, and the Ministry of Environment and Energy of Costa Rica. Other institutions has been collaborating with you in this process too. Among these institutions, we can mention the plaque of the United Nations, the German cooperation, and some institution of Costa Rica. It's important that we have obviously a definition of the bioeconomy. What is bioeconomy? We understand the bioeconomy as the production, utilization, conservation, and restoration of biological resources, including related knowledge, science, technology, and innovation, to provide information, products, processes, and services in all economic sectors aiming toward a sustainable economy. That is our definition of this. We consider that we have three relevant elements: conservation and restoration of biological resources, as well as the direct use and sustainable transformation to meet the needs of the environment, people, and various economic sectors, the application of knowledge about biological resources, processes, and principles in the development of new innovation products, processes, and services, and the use of technologies applicable to knowledge transformation and emulation of biological resources, processes, and principles. What is our vision? Our vision is to build a Costa Rica with a high value-added sustainable production in all regions and emerging biocities of our country, based on the fair and equitable use of biodiversity, the circular utilization of biomass, and the country's biotechnological progress as an element of our knowledge society. What is the main elements of this strategy? We propose 5 strategy axes. The first one is the bioeconomy for rural development. The second is the biodiversity for development. The third, biorefinery of residual biomass. The fourth, advanced biomass. And the fifth, urban bioeconomy and green cities. I have to emphasize that with these different strategic axes, we think we cover the main topics of bioeconomy and integrate, for example, the rural development with the emerge of green cities in our country. Some principles about the strategy. Mainly, sustainability, obviously, Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development. Obviously, the different conventions and agreements that we have in these processes in the climate, about climate change, about combat desertification, and obviously the Convention on Biological Diversity. Climate action, nature-based solutions is very important for us. But we have to balance too the social inclusion with the innovation, the value addition, and the diversification and productive sophistication and generate green jobs and fossil decarbonization. We have to balance this because sometimes one society could give more importance to one of the other. It's important, this balance in the vision of us. We have some cross-cutting axes. We emphasize the communication with society, the education and capacity development in the areas of bioeconomy, the research, development, and innovation, obviously as the main topic to develop bioeconomy. Without R&D is impossible. The creation of incentives and financing foreign investment in Costa Rica to bioeconomy, market access of our companies to develop products and services in bioeconomy, and obviously integrate all of these cross-cutting axes in our strategy. Finally, we have a plan of action that incorporates 3 main elements. One, bioeconomy observatory to follow up the evolution of the bioeconomy in our country. One, portfolio projects to develop in the SMEs and in our society the bioeconomy, implement that with the support of the private sector, obviously, and strengthening an interinstitutional coordination in all the areas related with bioeconomy. We are pursuing joint actions from the public sector, interministerial, intersectoral, and interregional processes. Obviously, in this process, we want to share and cooperate with other countries and develop one economy for all the region in Latin America, and obviously trade and develop a cooperation process with other regions too. This is our vision of our strategy. This is a very brief summary of this, and we hope that you can use these ideas in your public policy and share with you cooperation in the future in bioeconomy. Thank you very much.
We'll listen now to Leonardo Chacon Rodriguez, Vice Minister of Economy, Commerce, and Industry, to talk about the small and medium enterprises and its commitment to sustainable development.
Greetings from Costa Rica. Our country is one of the most stable democracies in Latin America and the world. In 1948, we abolished the army, and we strongly believe in international conventions and instruments of the United Nations system. We actively participate to protect economic and commercial relations, firmly convinced about the importance of international trade and attraction of foreign investment as an instrument for development and welfare of our population. We have signed more than 16 free trade agreements. Recently, we have become official member of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Our country has 5 million inhabitants. We invest 8% of our gross domestic product on education, and 30% of public spending goes to health. Our strength in human capital is demonstrated, and we have built a society with a high human development index. We have invested in sustainability, renewable energy, and 25% of the national territory is a protected area. Our people have a vocation for peace, nature, and entrepreneurship. Costa Rica Business Park has more than 130,000 companies. 97% are micro, small, and medium size. The production of SMEs represents 34% of the gross domestic product and generates more than 300,000 employment opportunities. 65% of the companies are focused on the services sector. It's related to tourism, technology, personal care, new information technologies, audiovisual production, entertainment, and specialized services in various fields such as engineering, economics, data mining, and clean technologies. 23% is related to commercial activity, which is dynamic and competitive, and makes possible the product's distribution in the territory. The agricultural activity has small producers who offers fresh vegetables and fruits every day in different supermarkets, shopping centers, and farming fairs. Our industry is highly competitive and specialized in different areas such as metal mechanical, wood, chemical, food, eco-friendly, and organic products. Our entrepreneurial creativity allows to have an entrepreneurship index equivalent to 23 SMEs per 1,000 inhabitants. How do we support our business park? Costa Rica has an institutional policy framework that supports companies and entrepreneurs located in the country. Today, this framework provides clear rules for a business environment, such as entrepreneurial promotion of the industrial, commercial, and service sector, promote competition and effective finance consumer defense, national system for quality, which promotes technical regulations in accordance with international practice, citizen protection from excessive requirements in order to improve the investment climate, the operation of a banking system for development and support of small and medium enterprises. Our institutional framework for promoting entrepreneurship is strong and promote bridges between pillars such as quality, consumer, metrology, small and medium-sized enterprises, defense trade controls, competition, and regulatory improvement. All these ingredients are vital to promote a strong productive sector and efficient market with respect to consumer rights. In 2019, we approved the National Entrepreneurship Policy. Our main goal is to generate opportunities for Costa Rica, recognizing and promoting the talent, improving the competitive and promoting the growth of Costa Rican companies to generate employment and economic development. Our SMEs are important and different from each other, and therefore require special attention. This policy includes what we call person dimension in order to support our current and future entrepreneurs. Our policy has a systemic, gender, territorial, and sustainability approach. The policy is designed in 7 priority areas to promote changes, improving business climate, promoting entrepreneurial culture and mentality, development of business management capabilities, financial environment with innovative products, reduction of technological gaps, articulation to gain access to markets. This policy has an action plan. An example of specific actions are related to regulatory improvement. Our objective is to promote a business climate through the simplification, focus on the critical procedures that affect the creation of a company in order to have a positive impact on doing business ethics. The National Regulatory Improvement Strategy has a different project, such as the creation of a single investment window, business window in the local governments, and promotes instruments such as the affidavit to reducing approval times. Our goal is to combat bureaucratism and its costs in order to improve the climate investment and companies' operation. Banking system for development. Costa Rica created a banking system for development to finance and promote productive and viable projects. The system generates financial resources, offering guarantees, seed capital, and venture capital. These resources are offered by financial organizations with special programs for entrepreneurs, SMEs, and micro and small farmers. The system has a portfolio estimated of $800 million with more than 50,000 loans. 75% are placed in micro enterprises. Business development centers. Inspired by the model of the United States of America called Small Business Development Center, we have created the Business Development Center to offer personalized attention for small and medium enterprises and entrepreneurs. We want to support small and medium enterprises to become more competitive, global, sustainable, and resilient. Women in Business Program. We create a program to improve women's skills in order to generate economic autonomy, combining entrepreneurial programs and gender approach, while women receives training and technical assistance. Our country has strongly faced the present pandemic, and we have been working hard to keep the continuity of our companies. It's been our priority to generate conditions to respond for our local and international demand without affecting commercial flows. Our democratic history, strong institutions, geographical location, and internationalization make us a great partner for your investment plans. You are cordially invited to visit our natural attraction and meet our people and generate sustainable business with our small and medium enterprises.
Let's listen now to Rafael Monge, Director of the Geo-Environmental Information Center of the Ministry of Environment. He's going to talk about climate action and the policies and practices in Costa Rica.
Hello, and thank you for the invitation to participate in the 2021 edition of the TIE Sustainability Summit to present the case study on how Costa Rica's experience in the implementation of the National Decarbonization Plan, climate action in Costa Rica, from policies to practice. My name is Rafael Monge, and I work as Director of the National Center of Geoenvironmental Information at the Ministry of Environment and Energy of Costa Rica. And there in the slide, I leave you my social networks handle if you wish to use them to continue the conversation. And this is a very special year for us Costa Ricans, as we are celebrating 200 years of independence, or bicentennial. The world has changed a lot in the last 200 years. The way that people lived and how the society and the economy was organized were very different too. Climate change didn't used to be a problem back in that time. In these 200 years, Costa Rica has grown as a country, and we have achieved to make sustainable development part of our DNA. Costa Rica has built a world-renowned green country brand, focused on conservation, reforestation, and our system of national parks and protected wildlife areas. This has been an important driver of economic growth and well-being for Costa Ricans. Thanks to our natural resources and visionary policies, we gain independence from fossil fuels to produce the electricity we consume. Currently, 60% of our territory is covered by forests, and since 2013, the land use sector came to be considered as a carbon sink in the accounting of the greenhouse gas emissions, absorbing up to almost 5 million tons of CO2 in 2014. Costa Rica decided its future 30 years ago, when it started changing incentives for deforestation and creating payments for ecosystem services. Its economic success and its ecological success is a direct outcome of decisions taken 3 decades ago by enlightened leaders. In 1990, Costa Rica's human development score was 0.66. In 2019, it was 0.81. In the 2020 Human Development Report, with the adjustment of the Human Development Index for planetary pressures, Costa Rica became the country with the highest increased ranking worldwide, rising 37 places, from 62nd to 25th place. This confirms the results of decades of policies integrating economic development and environmental protection. Our commitment to environmental protection has been evidenced not only in laws and policies, but also in the various international conventions and treaties that the country has signed with countries from the entire world. These include the National Framework Convention on Climate Change and the Paris Agreement. Within the framework of the Paris Agreement, in 2015, the country developed the National Decarbonization Plan, a long-term strategy with strategic actions to promote the decarbonizations of the country's economy, also as a commitment to a development model based on the bioeconomy, green growth, improving the quality of life of citizens, and social inclusion. As such, the National Decarbonization Plan aims for a 2050 goal in which Costa Rica will have decarbonized its economy and achieve the lowest possible level of emissions, with the aspiration of having net zero emissions. Despite the health emergency generated by COVID-19, more than 90% of the goals established in the plan for the period 2018 to 2022 show significant progress. The plan has 10 axes, and I'm going to tell you about the progress that we have achieved in each of these axes. The first one is the sustainable mobility and public transportation. Implementation, we have the implementation of exclusive bus lines, piloting of 3 electric buses, first stage of a bicycle line to the east of the great metropolitan area, municipal actions towards the implementation of a transport-oriented development. On the zero emission light transport axis, we have the acquisition of vehicles in government institutions, installation of vehicle charging centers, the identification of financial mechanisms for sustainable mobility, and also the promotion of low or zero emission vehicles. For the exits of zero emissions of freight transportations, we have the implementation of 60% in the plan to integrate into the freight distribution and commercialization model market study on intensive use on rail transportation. For the renewable electric energy of competitive cost exists, it is important to highlight that Costa Rica has a clean electricity matrix. More than 99% from more than 99% of renewable sources. Advances in advising high consumer companies, establishment of the medium voltage B tariff applicable to large consumers and specific companies. And we have also worked on the installation of smart meters, the study of an offshore wind power potential for electricity generation in Costa Rica. On the sustainable and low emissions buildings, we have significant increase in the number of organizations obtaining sustainable construction certifications, and the creation of the sustainable construction category in the program of the ecological group flag, with more than 170 companies with carbon neutral declarations under the standards of the carbon neutrality program of the country. For the low emissions industrial sector, we have been promoted technological changes in refrigeration and air conditioning systems in line with the Kigali Amendment. Also, the promotion of pilot projects aimed at the adoption of circular economy practices. On the integrated waste management ACES, we have had a 75% progress on the San Jose Metropolitan Area Environmental Improvement Project, as well as on the design of sanitation networks in cities outside the Great Metropolitan Area. Development of national technical standards for labeling single-use plastics, and the promotion of integrated waste management and recovery of materials. For the low carbon agri-food systems, we have advanced on coffee and livestock NAMAs, where we have been which have been consolidated. Also, in addition, we have NAMAs for the musaceas or bananas, rice, sugar cane, and in sectors that are in the process of being implemented. And finally, for the management of territories with nature-based solutions, we have a restoration of urban biological corridors and launching of strategies in areas such as watershed recovery, mangrove management, and recovery, among others. One of the nature-based solutions developed in Costa Rica decades ago and is currently providing benefits is the Costa Rican Payments for Environmental Services program. This is a financial mechanism that promotes forest ecosystem conservation and combats land degradation. The first scheme of this type in the country and in the region. In this program, landowners receive direct payments for the environmental services that their lands produce when adopting sustainable land use and land forest management techniques. To date, more than 18,000 families have benefited from the program, with an investment of $524 million in the program's projects and more than 1.3 million hectares under the program contracts. The program is funded through Costa Rica's fuel tax and water charge, as well as its own initiatives, such as the certificates of conservation of biodiversity, carbon credits, and the strategic alliances with public and private sector. It is worth remembering that the National Decarbonization Plan focuses on promoting programs, projects, and actions for the mitigation of greenhouse gases. This is clearly a priority. However, we have to think about adaptation actions to face the adverse effects of climate change. This involves reducing human vulnerability to climate events, promoting ecosystem adaptation to climate change, and ensuring ecosystem services for human population. Rapid improvements in spatial data and computation present new opportunities for predicting biodiversity at different levels and understanding the relationship between biodiversity and its benefits to people. Costa Rica is making strides in the use of geospatial information to enhance conservation policies and promote a sustainable and resilient development for everyone. We're building a national land use and ecosystem monitoring system and working in collaboration with national and international partners in the creation of an schematic framework of decision support system that can help Costa Rica policymakers to take actions to deliver on policy priorities and to monitor the impact of these actions. For this objective, we are building partnerships with international stakeholders to work together to develop our capacities and generate the analysis that can yield to policies that increase agricultural productivity and sustainability, add value to our tourism industry, improve land use management, among other priorities, according to the reality of each territory. Thank you very much for your attention. Muchas gracias.
Modern life moves faster than ever. We've lost touch with some of the most essential aspects of what it really means to be alive. It's time to recharge and reclaim all that is pure and vital for real happiness, to get our priorities straight and rise above the noise. Costa Rica lives that promise, to give us what we all need, to feel truly fulfilled, to find balance, to be at peace, and discover the thrill of just being present in the moment. So we invite you to make this promise, to connect with nature, each other, even yourself, to visit Costa Rica. Life's essentials found here.
We'll listen now to Pedro Beirute, CEO of Procomer, that is the Agency for Export Promotion in Costa Rica. He's going to talk about green growth.
The Green Growth Platform offers support to Costa Rican companies who want to develop environmental transformation projects, which will also impact their production capabilities and improve their competitiveness and exporting potential. Selected projects receive seed capital funds to invest in change requirements, like equipment purchase, re-engineering of processes, and certifications that will facilitate access to international markets. With this program, Costa Rica seeks to align its productive offer with world trends, taking advantage of the rise of more conscious consumers that are looking for sustainable and innovative products.
Los proyectos con los que accedimos al programa de crecimiento verde son basados y creados de acuerdo a nuestra realidad como empresa. Montamos una propuesta de sostenibilidad, el cual es realmente importante para nosotros debido a que mejoramos nuestro aprovechamiento de los recursos.
Actualmente somos la única empresa que procesamos botellas plásticas en Costa Rica, pues nuestra visión es tratar de ser proveedores de poliéster a nivel nacional y a nivel de Centroamérica, que invertimos en una maquinaria desetiquetadora que nos es más rentable a la hora de procesar. Aparte de eso nos hace más eficientes y el producto que se procesa sale más nítido.
Companies can apply on the platform with the Green Transformation Project, looking to improve its environmental sustainability, impacting at least one of these areas: renewable energy use, emission reduction, water uses, integrated residue management.
Esa transformación productiva en paralelo con la tendencia mundial, el cual nos ayuda a una mayor recordación por parte de nuestros clientes internacionales debido a nuestro compromiso con el medio ambiente.
La responsabilidad de nuestra empresa es poner una contraparte, invertir de nuestros recursos y llevar a cabo el proyecto. La empresa crece por el recurso que recibimos, pero de igual manera crece por el trabajo que realizamos.
The Green Growth Platform transforms the Costa Rican business ecosystem, aiming to encourage its exporting potential, supporting projects that generate added value, innovation, and differentiation in order to achieve more presence and competitiveness in international markets. Consult the bases on www.crecimientoverdecr.com.
Green Growth Platform is part of Costa Rica's strategy to bring more sustainability into our exporting companies. As of now, over 10% of total Costa Rican companies have enjoyed this program, a program that is focused on waste management, electricity consumption, energy optimization, transformative productive processes, and anything that has to do with sustainable from a three-piece standpoint: people, profit, and planet. We are looking forward for the next step of this program, which is part of Costa Rican overall trade and investment strategy.
It's time to listen to Álvaro Goicoechea from CINDE, that is the Institution of Investment Attraction in Costa Rica. He will answer the question of why is Costa Rica the right partner for productivity and sustainability.
Hello everyone, Álvaro from CINDE, Costa Rica's promotion agency. Thanking you all for taking the time to join me as we uncover the journey of how to invest with purpose and answer the question, why Costa Rica? Your path to sustainable productivity. Nowadays, we're faced with a paradigm to balance the impending need to transform our business and achieve our growth targets. But as we all know, we need to ask ourselves the question, is it grow at all costs or grow in the best way? And so we set ourselves with the challenge of growing in a sustainable way, a question that Costa Rica has made itself to understand how to leverage from the best-in-class resources, how to develop incentives to strive aligned with SDGs, and how to invest for future generations. The answer to this is simple. Set all efforts on human talent, sustainability, and technology to achieve this. Therefore, Costa Rica is the right partner to reach sustainability and as well productivity and truly invest with purpose. A key of how Costa Rica achieves this milestone is to have all sectors converge under one single ecosystem. The convergence between smart manufacturing, led by life sciences and advanced manufacturing, and how it's fueled by its talent, the talent and technology that thrives in sectors like digital technologies and corporate services, which in part understands the need to have a life-centered approach reflected in our health and well-being sectors, as well as tourism, all connect and complete the circle to fully achieve this convergence. A reflection of how all these sectors converge is seen with all the companies that have trusted Costa Rica as their partner to invest with purpose, but most importantly, to reinvest and continue growing through time. We in Costa Rica favor long-term relationships as we know profitability and sustainability need time to achieve its synergies. So how does Costa Rica provide value to companies? It's simple, and companies have told us repeatedly that we can summarize it in three simple words: people, planet, and prosperity. People is Costa Rica's most beloved treasure. It is the base of all the transformation the country has achieved with leaders in the field of space, democracy, and sustainability. This reflects on how the country provides platform to develop talent for the market needs and as well for future jobs. Second is planet. Imagine a country that has 99% of its energy from renewable sources, that has reverted deforestation and increased its forest coverage, and focuses its programs to align its long-term vision with social development goals. That is Costa Rica. And third, we have prosperity. Boosting a connected ecosystem in which CINDE acts as an enabler to connect not only companies of the sector, but also academia, government entities, and other key players to align effort and work on initiatives to support key programs. Double-clicking on people, the talent of Costa Rica is characterized by a labor force that is flexible enough to work with several cultures, keep its customer centricity focused, but at the same time challenge the status quo to achieve better solutions and productivity. This is seen in the actions on the second column, showcasing the traits we have. As I mentioned, the knowledge transfer capabilities and how we are tech savvy and creative to drive innovation are very important. Understanding that these are key qualities that need to be nurtured, we've set out to make sure that we continue retooling and reskilling the talent platform to be ready for future jobs and as well provide value add for companies searching for it. The left column showcases the actions that has shaped us to how we are right now. A long-standing democracy, as well as the abolishment of the army in the late 40s, shifted much of the needed resources to education, with mandatory and free education for boys and girls and allocating large portions of GDP to health and education has been key to develop our talent. We see this reflected in important indices in which Costa Rica ranks as #1 in Latin America, given its skills and language capability. As well, Costa Rica commits 14% of government expenditure to education. Many times, ranking even higher or in line with more developed countries in areas such as human capital and available skilled workforce. Such results have been a reflection of the continued efforts to retool and reskill our labor force, as I mentioned before. More than 50,000 people have been trained through different initiatives in which CINDE participated, focused on providing companies with specialized talent to proactively source talent for future growth. The second P, prosperity, reflects the enterprise-wide transformation we have achieved. Our economy is a knowledge-intensive service economy. We are true value generators for the companies. Companies prosper as they utilize the skills of our talent and work together to generate a technology-enabled ecosystem, aiming to reach the highest levels of productivity and value add, with research and development in the forefront of those efforts. Understanding it takes time to achieve such transfer of knowledge, the country provides streamlined immigration procedures and business-friendly solutions for foreign talent. In addition, one of the most important incentives is our free trade zone regime, with a series of incentives to increase the return on the investment. So how has Costa Rica been able to address the COVID-19 crisis? We understood that we need to have a strategy to quickly adapt to the circumstances by responding, recovering, and reimagining how future will be. Some of the results of the strategy of the 3R is that we've created more than 20,000 new jobs. Services exports also grew despite the global economic scenarios, and we were able to have virtually all service companies work from everywhere in a matter of days, with no disruption absolutely to its business process. In terms of medtech exports, we grew by 8%, leveraging on the high quality talent that we have in Costa Rica, continued manufacturing operations, and as well, no business disruptions on logistics and supply chain. Therefore, Costa Rica served as the main manufacturing hub for several companies that suffered disruptions in other regions. Reflecting this is the service sector, which focuses on high-end value-add processes, such as automation, supply chain services, advanced finance, and HR, with mature GBS centers and also centers of excellence. Also focused on cybersecurity, software developers, and cloud support. As seen, Costa Rica has twice the average level of service exports as a percentage of total exports versus the average of other OECD members. And also, it stands out as the least restrictive OECD country for digital services in trade. But we also focus on smart manufacturing with a strong focus on health exports, being our main product of exports, and also reaching close to $4 billion in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. Other sectors, which are also key in the advanced manufacturing, are semiconductors and parts for semiconductors as well. Also, electronic components, which service industries such as aerospace, auto, consumer electronics, among others. As seen in the image, Costa Rica covers practically all the human body with medical devices, and also services covering dental and telemedicine, along with industries or sub-industries such as pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies. One of the reasons why we have such cluster is the openness in terms of commerce and the geographical positioning of Costa Rica. The country has close to 60 free trade agreements, which grants companies preferential access to 75% of the world's GDP. It also has access to ports in the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans as well combined with commercial agreements with Asian partners such as China, Singapore, South Korea, and at the same time, free trade agreements with regions such as Europe, USA, Canada, and as well Mexico. Therefore, supply chain resilience coupled with lower transit times and risk mitigation strategies are key drivers for the continued growth we've seen during 2020 and 2021. Last but not least, our third P, planet. Costa Rica is globally known for its natural attractions and the commitment to sustainability. 99% electricity comes from renewable sources. We foster 6% of the world's biodiversity in 52,000 square meters, and we were the first tropical nation to revert deforestation. And now we have more than 50% of the national territory covered by forest. We are also one of the 5 regions in the world to have a blue zone, and we've set out to be carbon neutral by 2050. For such reasons is why we have 25 companies of the RE100 index, which are businesses committed to run with 100% renewable electricity. Some of these companies also have set in place strict standards for business partners or suppliers, which have also increased the interest in having operations with clean energy. This is also reflected in the type of tourism and tourism infrastructure we have in Costa Rica. Our country proved to be one of the main regions for tourism infrastructure as a result of having the second highest nights per stay average in the world. In general, Costa Rica is all about quality of life, and that translates into our holistic view on wellness, on investments, and sustainability. Please reach out for more information at our email, invest@cinde.org, or in our social media websites, and our website, cinde.org. Thanks, and remember, invest with purpose. Costa Rica.
The next participant is Fernando Lizano Moreno from ICE, which is the Institution of Power Electricity in Costa Rica. He's going to tell us why Costa Rica has achieved 98% of renewable energy.
Costa Rica, a small country in Central America with 51,100 square kilometers. Despite its size, it has a universal, supportive, and forefront electric grid. More than 99% of the population has access to electricity, and it is the second country with the highest coverage in Latin America. However, it was not always like this. When the Costa Rican Institute of Electricity was born in 1949, only 14% of the population had access to electricity. Before that, Costa Rican people struggled for decades to have an accessible and quality service. This dream came true thanks to ICE. Its statutory law instructed ICE to provide and guarantee equal power service for the people in Costa Rica, based on clean sources, mainly water. Today, this solidarity call benefits 1 million households, 225,000 businesses, and 9,000 industries. ICE produces 65% of the power in Costa Rica, with 27 energy plants, mostly renewable. The national grid includes 67 substations and 23,700 kilometers of transmission lines. Besides, ICE is in charge of the National Power Control Center, which manages and administers the local demand and exchanges power with the regional market. Thanks to the success on power development, ICE entered the telecommunication market in 1963. Since then, ICE invested heavily in digital exchanges, paid and fixed phones, satellite systems, cellular networks, and internet services. In mobile telephony, its brand, Colby, is the leading operator in the market and serves more than 4 million customers, with the fastest and steadiest network in the country. Colby also provides business and entertainment solutions through the internet and paid TV networks. A robust optical fiber network of 20,500 kilometers support these and other digital services. Thanks to its wide experience with infrastructure and electric and telecommunication development, ICE has successfully ventured into projects in Nicaragua, Bolivia, El Salvador, and Panama. Its economic activities correspond to 4% of the Costa Rican gross domestic product, GDP. ICE leads the electromobility and smart cities projects in the country and is taking strong leaps toward new business tracks by strengthening the convergence of its two main services. All of this to provide agile solutions that improve quality of life.
Work with the leaders. ICE Consulting Services. The experience accumulated by ICE for more than 70 years of development has allowed our human team to treasure vast experience and expertise in a wide range of disciplines, thus allowing us to offer services either in a comprehensive or in a specific way. ICE puts at your disposal a group of services and emphasizes that any of them can be adjusted to suit your needs, to the availability of information, to the conditions of your country, energy model, regulations, and climatic conditions. Electrical infrastructure project management. We offer comprehensive consulting services for the management of engineering work in all its stages, from the identification and basic conceptualization of the project to the startup using the best project management practices. Project management encompasses all stages of the development of an engineering work or the execution of one or some of its stages, depending on the client's needs. Engineering, procurement, and construction services. We can develop infrastructure associated with the generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity. We cover all the stages, including feasibility studies, design, procurement, construction, and commissioning. Our services are provided under the highest quality standards, respecting the best practices of the construction industry, in accordance with an adequate management of health and safety at work and the environment. Modernization and rehabilitation of electrical infrastructure. We can provide a comprehensive management service for reconversion and modernization of electrical infrastructure, power plants, transmission lines, substations, etc., in order to increase the installed capacity, renew the useful life, increase the efficiency, and guarantee the continuity of the business. In geothermal energy, our services include geological, geochemical, and geophysical studies, thermohydraulic characterization, conceptual and numerical modeling, and sustainable geothermal reservoirs development strategies. Also, we can help our clients in the design and supervision of drilling campaigns, completion design of production and reinjection wells, and assistance in management of drilling fluids cementing, and directional perforation. We also give training services, including training of teams in the fields of knowledge necessary to develop the exploitation of geothermal resources, based in the experience developed in Costa Rica. Energy Resources Assessment. ICE can help electric companies and energy ministries assess the energy resources available in a country or region, defining the total amount of energy that can be used for electricity generation. We have experience in the evaluation of wind, solar, biomass, hydroelectric, and geothermal resources. Renewable energy development. We can help our clients in the assessment of the energy policies associated with the country's electricity generation and the preparation of a national strategy for the development of renewable sources and the transformation of the electric matrix in order to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. ICE also can give services in the formulation of the framework with the planning criteria for the expansion of the power generation, based on public policies and the specific objectives of the destination country, as well as the definition of the roadmap that will give basis for a medium and long-term renewable development strategy. We can help governments and electric companies in the quantification of the emissions of the country's electricity generation matrix. Also, we give consultancy services in the development of a reliable baseline, on which the potential addition or reduction of greenhouse gases achieved by a matrix transformation plan can be determined.
Costa Rica is very proud to be part of this summit on sustainability. It has been a great experience and a great participation of many speakers from all over the world, which we hope will have a very good impact on creating the sustainability that the world needs, because we are in a crisis. And we need to correct all of the things and harms that we have done to the earth. So we are very grateful to TAI and to the organization of all this effort that has been made. And we welcome you to go to Costa Rica and Pura Vida. We hope to see you there.
Perhaps the perfect place does not exist. It may be just an idea crossing our minds as something stirs our emotions, approaching us in a moment of peace, arising when we connect with our essence. Perhaps the perfect place does not exist. But if it did, what would it be like?
L'endroit parfait est fait d'harmonie. La conviction de faire partie d'un ensemble bien plus grand que nous.
المكان المثالي مصنوع من التنوع، نهوض نسق من الأفكار والأحلام الجميلة والمعقدة.
Der perfekte Ort besteht aus Inspiration, dem Antrieb, unsere Gegenwart zu verstehen, die in der Hoffnung auf eine bessere Zukunft verwurzelt ist.
完美的地方是努力的，始终做到最好，为了自己，也为了我们身边的人。
El lugar perfecto está hecho de talento. Esa certeza sobre nuestra capacidad colectiva, reflejada en el éxito de cada uno.
We all know that the perfect place does not exist. It must be built. It is created by walking together and encouraging each other. It is achieved by the endless commitment to the welfare of all. The perfect place is to be made.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Claudio Ansorena. It was really wonderful, wonderful insights from the various ministries from the Republic of Costa Rica. We thank you very much. There's so much for us to learn about sustainability. And this is the end of the Costa Rican session for today.